So guys, we're going to learn about Internet of Things or the Internet of Things or IoT technology. So first of all, the first question, why we need IoT? Can anyone answer that question? To automate things. Yeah. Then please be interactive. To program the hardware. Yeah. So these are the things which we need IoT to do things. Like we need IoT to make our life easier and convenient. Access from anywhere. Yeah, Balamurugan, you are right. We can access it from anywhere, connecting more hardware under the common point. Yeah. These are all the things which we can do in the IoT or through IoT. So this is the IoT technology in which we can do a lot of things. So we use IoT to make our life easier and convenient. Then, so first of all, the first chapter, or you can say the first point, introduction to IoT. For the introduction part, it is simple as it means taking all the physical places, things in the world and connecting them to the internet. Okay, basically the introduction to IoT, or you can say the meaning of IoT is to connect anything or everything in the world to a certain point, or you can say a certain thing which is called internet, which will be collecting the data and it will be sending all over the world. So in this picture you are seeing here, that is from one point, or you can say from one UX or UI, the user can control, or you can say connect to everything in the world. Hello, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, yes, you're audible now. You're audible now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Avinash, you can continue. You can continue.
Yes, sir. Yeah, right now am I audible and clear? Hello, sir. Okay, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So IoT means we will be taking all the things in the world and connecting them into a single thing that is called internet. Okay. To that internet, sorry, through that internet, we can access to any other thing, suppose data, network, automation, interconnection, everything in our palms. Or you can say, for example, your mobile. Your mobile is an IoT device also. How? Because through this you can control, you can achieve, or you can say reach into any domain, or you can say reach into any certain place. Through that we can control anything or see, get any kind of data. Then we got the introduction to IoT second one. So what it says that it is a system that is of interrelating computing devices like mechanical and digital machines, objects, animals, or people. So these things, all those things which are interrelated, that can be, or you can say most possible probably, which is used for human to human and human to computer interaction. So all these things can be used to make the human to human interaction, or you can say human to computer interaction. That is the wholesome goal of IoT, or you can say that is the goal of IoT, which is made to complete the interaction of human to human and human to computer. Yes, Monica, mechanical, is that a question or what? Please let me know. So overview of IoT technology. So the term IoT, Internet of Things, has merged over the past few years
as one of the popular technology buzz terms. So what is the technology buzz terms? See, you have seen many things, or you can say many terms like technology buzz is IoT, robotics. All those things are the technology buzz terms, which is that they represent the technology in today's world. Okay, so in this today's technological world, IoT figures prominently in technology discussions due to the rapid growth. So this rapid growth are the reason PLCs work on IoT or not. Yeah, Tanishka, today's world you can also use PLC through IoT. Okay, in today's world you can also use robots and PLC, all those things through IoT. You in your industry, suppose you have an industry, and at that time there is some PLCs. Yeah, I'll be explaining the scopes of the IoT later in this chapter, in this webinar. So first focus on the first question, that we can use IoT in PLC. That is clear. Okay. Yes, for scope of the IoT, I will be explaining that later. So IoT figures prominently in technology discussion due to the rapid growth. So this rapid growth is what in the IoT that gives the IoT the edge to be prominent in the technology discussion. That the reason is the rapid growth of IoT. Okay, there are multiple ways to define IoT. Carefully listen, everyone. That IoT, okay, the definition IoT is not a particular one. Okay, everyone have their own perspective, or you can say own definition of IoT. Okay, yeah. I see we have another question here. How much IoT technology costs? Uh, Sairam. Yeah. So Sairam, the technology cost is means like what type of technology you want. Okay. If that is a big scale technology, that means you have to pay for that more. If that is a small scale technology, you have to pay less for that. Okay. But that is not costly if you go for the small scale. If you go for the big scale also, that is not as costly as PLC. Okay. Yeah, according to the definition of IoT, okay, there are a lot of definitions. So according to any kind of definitions, it is a way to interconnection with the help of internet devices that can be embedded into implement the functionality in everyday objects by enabling them to send or receive data. So basically what it does now, it is the interconnection by the help of internet of the embedded systems that is implemented and functionally in everyday object by enabling them to send and receive data. The work of the IoT is to connected to the data, connected to the internet. After that, it will be using the devices which are related to embedded systems. You can say, okay, for an instant, you can say that it uses the devices of embedded systems, and it will be enabling the everyday objects by connecting them to the embedded systems, or you can say embedded implementation of functionality in everyday worlds, that they will be enabling the normal, or you can say manual objects to send and receive data. Okay, then today data is everything and everywhere. So you can say that data, or you can say your mobile data is also there. So data is everything and everywhere, and it is also for everyone, it is everything. Okay, you have your own data, you have your personal data, you have your professional data. So these are the datas which are everything today. Okay, hence IoT is also be defined as analysis of the data generated a meaning action triggered subsequently after the interchange of data. So what is IoT? You can define it also as the analysis of data, the data which we have, that analysis of the data and generated a meaning of action triggered subsequently after the interchanging of data. Can we use IoT with 4G, Sairam? Yes, we can use IoT with 4G. Yeah, in this particular webinar, we will be going to discuss about that also in the later part. Okay. Yeah, IoT can be used to build applications for agriculture, asset tracking, energy sector, safety, security sector, defense, embedded applications, education, waste management, healthcare product, telemedicine, smart city applications, and etc. So let me know that how we can use IoT in all these applications. Please let me know. For example, like agriculture, I can use the soil moisture. Okay, I can use the soil moisture. How? Like I am putting a sensor in the. I am putting a sensor. Sir, also discuss about program of IoT, please. So, implementing IoT. Yeah, anyone told me that also discuss about program of IoT, that in this particular session we are not going to learn about the programming. Okay, in this particular webinar we will be going to learn about that what are the technology that is in our market or in our world of the IoT. Okay, programs of sensors. uh, I think we can't do that right now. Okay, about the risk, Sandeep Yadav, sir, is there any risk in implementing IoT? Yeah, you can say there is no risk, but there is a some sort of risk that it might be depend upon the sensors. Okay, yeah, Saurav, there is no risk. I no, I say that there is no risk, but there can be some risk when there might be any kind of troubleshoot, or there might be any kind of trouble. So you have to check it out. Before that, it could happen. It could create any type of problems like hazards. Okay, any wrong information relay. So that can be risky. Okay. How does 5G can accelerate Industry 5.0? Yeah, we'll be discussing about that later, Vishwam. How does IoT and Google Assistant similar or both are different? Yeah, you can say those two work on the similar area, but those two are not same. Okay, those two are different. How to implement our project through IoT? Uh, I How to implement our project through IoT? I didn't get the question. Please elaborate me. Yeah, so let me know that how we can use the applications, or you can say IoT, in these sectors: in agriculture, asset tracking, energy sector, safety and security, and all those things. How for give me an example. Okay, in the chat box, give me an example that how we can use IoT in those fields right now. Hurry up, guys. Just give me some examples. IoT का use. Yeah, you can make a lot of projects using IoT. There are a number of projects which you can use IoT in production process. Yeah, smart irrigation. Yes, by irrigating the device used in them. Yeah, that is only for agriculture. Then asset tracking, energy sector, then security sector, vehicle parking system. Yeah, that is a good one. Then health monitor device. Yeah, that is a good one. Then in waste management, how you can use IoT? Can anyone tell me in waste management how we can use IoT? Recycling. I am saying about the examples. Give me a certain any kind of example. IoT based energy meter. Yeah. Okay. For the waste management. Okay. For the waste management, you can say that yeah, the smart dustbin. Okay. The smart dustbin, that means where you have to put a sensor upon your dustbin. After that, it will be sense when it will sense that your dustbin is full. It will be giving you signal that your dustbin is full and you have to empty that. That is the use of IoT. Yeah. Yeah, Tushar. Thank you. Thank you for your suggestion. Yeah. So let's move on to the IoT structure. Collecting the waste or garbage at different location by using sensor. Yeah, that can be that can be possible. Proximity sensor is used. Yeah, Rohit, you're right. Proximity sensor can be used. Okay. So after that, we got the IoT structure. So what are the IoT structure, like how the structure of IoT is built, that after which layer is used, after that the data goes to which layer, then what we got, the all those things are the layers, and the layers make the IoT structure. Okay, so first of all, we totally have 4 layers. Okay, in IoT we have 4 layer structure. So what are those? That are sensor and devices, connectivity, data processing, and user interface, or you can say user experience. Okay, okay guys, so these are the 4 layers. We have sensor, connectivity, data processing, and user interface. So tell me that how this thing should be work. Okay, how the thing should be work. There is a picture here. Okay, you can see that there is a picture here: sensor to connectivity, to data processing, to user interface. So let me know in the chat box that if we put some data in this area. Okay, in this area, this particular area, I'm giving some data. So what it will be here. Okay, what it will be here. Suppose, for example, there is some temperature, and here is a temperature sensor. Okay, so from this layer to this layer, what will happen and what will I see here? Okay, let me know in the chat box right now. Fetch the data through the sensor or devices. It will fetch the data from the environment. After that, it will send that data. Okay, it will send that data to the hub, or you can say IoT hub, through connectivity. Okay, through connectivity, it will be sending the data to the hub. Okay, after that, okay, after that, it will be going to the data processing layer. Okay, the data processing layer does what? It will be converting the data into a certain type, or you can say into a certain thing, that will the user experience or the user interface will be able, or you can say the user will be able to read that data in that form only. Okay, so as we know that the computer works in 0 and 1, but is that 0 and 1 what we see? No, that is different. So in this case, the data processing does what? The any kind of data which is in voltage, in, or you can say in the form of voltage or the form of 0 and 1, we will be getting the data in the form of in which form we want. Okay, that is the data processing here. Okay, suppose gas sensor are used to smoking are to detect smoke, right? There are some gas sensors which will be detecting smoke, but there are some other gas sensors which cannot detect smoke, that will detect only LPG. Okay, how to get data from the sensor into cloud? Basically, you have to do what now? You have to have a, yeah, you have to have a cloud storage. Okay, or you can say, for example, web servers like your cloud. So at that time, you will be transferring the data. Sorry, you will be sensing the data through the sensor. After that, you have to write a program, and in that particular program, you have to do what? In that particular program, you have to do what? You have to get the credentials of your cloud or anything. If you have any cloud for ThinkSpeak, there is an API key. You have to get that API key and put it in your program. After that, it will be showing you the data on your cloud. Okay, so that's how the cloud and IoT works. Okay, so after that, we got the first IoT structure, which is your sensor and devices. Okay, so sensors and other peripheral devices are the first layer of IoT structure. As we all know that IoT collects data from the environment and surrounding and sends the data to the next layer of the structure. Okay, basically what it does now, it will be fetching the data from the environment. After that, it will be giving the data or sending the data to any other kind of, sorry, to the next layer of the structure, which is your connectivity. Okay, so these devices or the device can control or observe the surroundings. Okay, so here is your sensor and devices. There are 3 types. Okay, there are 3 types, or you can say environmental quantities it can measure, conventional appliances it can measure, and other non-sensing devices are there. Okay, so these are 3 types, which is environmental quantities, it will be measuring the environmental quantities. The conventional appliances, which will be only devices. nothing other, not other things. That is only devices. Okay, and there are some other devices which are non-sensing. That means they will be not sensing anything. Okay, there are some other devices like your actuators. Okay, so these are the sensors and devices. So here is some type of sensors you can see. You might have known that, some of you might have known that the rain sensor, the sensor hat, then there is your photodiode, IR proximity sensor, there is your PIR sensor, then there is your alcohol sensor, ultrasonic sensor, IR optical sensor, LDR, gas sensor, and gyroscope sensor. So these are different works and different sensors. So someone asked me the question that how to know mm, MQ2 gas sensor. Yeah. So someone asked me that how to know that which sensor is for which one. Okay. For example, this particular sensor it is named what? Rain sensor. So it is particularly used for rain, sensing the rain. Okay. Or you can say if there is any water provided upon that plate, it will be showing you or letting you know that this is a rain sensor, or you can say there is some water or rain. Okay. So for that purpose, you can separate all the sensors and let the you can know that how the sensors works. Okay, so the second structure, or you can say the IoT structure 2, connectivity. Okay, so what is connectivity? Connectivity, you can say that this is the backbone of IoT. Okay, this is connectivity is the backbone of IoT. Without the connectivity, there is no meaning to IoT. Okay, in the Internet of Things, if you can't connect to a data, or you can say you can't connect a device to a server, there is no meaning of IoT. Okay, the connectivity of an IoT system is defined as the connection between 2 points such as sensors, peripheral devices, gateways, routers, applications, platforms, and UI. Okay, so all these things can be connected from a part to different part, or you can say one device to another device. Okay, here you can see in this picture there are a lot of things are connected through a wire. These wires or these soft wires are the connectivity protocols. Okay, these are the connectivity protocols which are connecting one signal to another signal and one thing to another thing in the whole world. Okay, so chain of physical objects. Yeah, you can say that this is a chain of physical objects, but this objects chain is a example of IoT. That can is IoT used in Tesla car? Yes, there is some. Yes, there is some use of IoT in Tesla cars also. Okay, you can connect to your car from your mobile and you can see the mm, live क्या बोलते हैं उसको? Live location of your car. And yeah, sorry everyone, thank you Rohit. The live location of your Tesla car, and your car is on, or sorry, your car is open or closed, everything you can see in your mobile. That is the IoT, that is the application they used. Okay, and you can even control your car through your mobile. Okay, that is the power of IoT. You can imagine that you can control a car from your phone from a very distance, or you can say anywhere in the world. So that is the power of IoT. Okay, what is a protocol? Wait. Can we say that set of rules to send that data? Yeah, the set of rules to send the data, that is called the programming. Okay, can we say that set of rules to send the data, that is the programming? Okay, so after that, connectivity, data processing. Okay, so after the connectivity, we do what? Generally, the connectivity layer is to send the data to a certain platform. Okay, that platform can be cloud, that platform can be edge computing, that platform can be ML, anything. Okay, that platform can be anything. So this is the data processing. In the data processing, it does what? In the cloud, the data processing is happening right now. In this picture you are seeing that the data user device access via internet. Okay, this two-headed arrow is the connectivity layer. Okay, this is your user device, or you can say this is the sensor. Sensor is giving the data through connectivity to the data processing layer. Okay, the data processing layer is between the cloud. Okay, you can say this is the platform where the data resides. Okay, so data processing in IoT is the working of data, or you can say the working, cycling, exchanging of data in the whole system. So basically, you will sense the data will go to the cloud, or you can say anywhere it will reside. At that time, the data will get processed. Okay, the data will get processed. After that, it will be sent to what? Let me know, everyone. After the data is getting processed, it will go where? Okay, the next layer is what? Yeah, that is user interface, or you can say user experience. Okay, so data data cycling, data exchanging, and working of data is called data processing. Okay, likewise MQTT protocol, sir. Yeah, the MQTT protocol is next in the line. Okay, don't worry about that. So after that, yeah, for example, mostly in the IoT we use cloud for data storing and exchanging. So cloud is also a gateway which connects several modules. Okay, you can use the cloud, or you can say you can use a cloud to be a gateway for several modules to be connected. That means there is a database. Okay, there is a database, there is a self-containing database, servers, everything, and there is a cloud. Okay, for example, there is a your email, for example, your email. Okay, there is some cloud also, there is a cloud also. Okay, it will be connected, to your cloud, and you will be providing your drive, or you will be providing your drive to anyone else. At that time, whatever data is there, he will be uh, sorry he will be able to see that data. So that is the work of IoT. Okay, you can connect several modules by changing the cloud, using the cloud as a gateway to connect several modules. What is the right platform to learn the connections between Arduino and sensor? I would prefer that to learn the Arduino and sensors, about the Arduino and sensors, is to learn by yourself. Okay, or you can say you can for that right platform, you will please conserve that question to the last. Okay, in the last, when sir is there, you should ask him. Okay, yeah, thank you, Ganesh. So then the fourth structure is that user interface and user experience. Okay, so what is the user interface and user experience? User interface or user experience consists of feature or a interface that interacts with the user. Okay, basically what is that is like what you see in your mobile while controlling anything you through the IoT. Okay, that is the user interface. That means after the data is processed, it will be showing you the user interface, or that thing, that process data which you see, that is called the user interface, or you can say UI. Okay, there is in your mobile. Okay, for example, those who have the MI mobile, that is what MIUI. Okay, so that is the UI, user interface. That means the company is separately done, or you can say made some changes or processing. After that, they choose to show you this format of the data which is processed. So that is the user interface. Okay, which type of sensor used in IoT? Which type of sensor is used in an IoT? Every type of sensor you can use in IoT, depends upon your application. When a user experiences the UI, it knows as the user experience. Okay, so in IoT, there are mostly softwares and applications are used for UI. Okay, like you can say the ThinkSpeak, okay, or you can say web servers, okay. Those are the UI which are you seeing after the data is getting processed, okay. Yeah, so whenever a user is experience the UI, okay, that means here you are seeing the shared screen of mine, okay. You are seeing the shared screen of mine, that is the UI for you. That when you are seeing that, or when you are experiencing that UI, that becomes your user experience. And the best user experience example is the AR VR, okay. In AR VR, that is the best example for your user experience, okay. For example, a TV remote has a user interface that consists of various buttons, and and devices such as Amazon Echo can be controlled with voice commands, okay. So that is the difference between user interfaces, okay. So the companies are providing what type of user interface depends upon various things, okay. Then we got the characteristics of IoT, okay. What we got here, the characteristics of IoT. So basically all we know that IoT is a vast field of working which contains a lot of characteristics, okay. There are a number of characteristics, but there are some important characteristics that should be in a IoT platform, or you can say IoT device, okay, or you can say IoT platform. So some some of the most important characteristics are connectivity, intelligence and identity, scalability, dynamic and self-adapting, architecture, and safety. Okay. So these are the 6 type of characteristics which are mostly important and needed in a IoT platform, or you can say IoT structure. Okay. So first of all, there is connectivity. So what is connectivity? Connectivity is an important requirement of the IoT infrastructure. Things of IoT should be connected to the IoT infrastructure. Okay, basically, the layer we saw in the IoT structure, that is the characteristics of our IoT. Okay, the layer which we saw in the IoT structure, that is the characteristics of IoT. Okay, which is connectivity. That means connectivity is an important requirement of the IoT infrastructure, that things of IoT should be connected to IoT infrastructure. Okay. So what is the requirement of the connectivity? Okay, so guys, what is the meaning of connectivity in IoT? Okay, I want the answers in the chat box right now. What is the need of connectivity in IoT? Okay, hurry up, guys. Let me know the answer and we will move on. Connectivity is someone writing internet, that we are connecting to internet, but I have asked the what is the need of connectivity in IoT? Okay, sending and receiving data, connect the devices together, so transfer the data and signals. Okay, let the answers come up. I want to see some more answers. All the answers are correct, but I need to see some more answers. Sending the data to the cloud. Okay, that can happen. Yeah, sending the data to cloud. Okay, guys, thank you for the answers. So that is the requirement of IoT to the that is the requirement of connectivity to the IoT. Okay, that means without connectivity we can't do anything. Okay, so anyone, anywhere, anytime can connectivity should be guaranteed at all times. Without connection, nothing makes sense in IoT. what I've told there. Okay. So after that, intelligence and identity. So let me know that what is intelligence and identity in your language. Okay. In IoT, that what is the intelligence and identity? Transfer data from one to another. Yeah. Connect all the devices. Yeah. Intelligence and identity, Rohit, you say that it is smartness, right? Okay. Smartness of the devices. Yeah. Then, okay. So intelligence and identity, you can say that if there is a extraction of knowledge, okay, from the generated data, the extraction of knowledge from the generated data is very important. Okay. But if you don't know how to execute it, okay, there is no meaning to the data, right? There is the extraction of the data is done. But if you don't know what to do with that extracted data, is there any meaning to the intelligence to the data which is extracted? There is no meaning. So that's why in your IoT infrastructure, you have to have your characteristics, which is intelligence and identity. Okay, sending data to identified. Yeah, that is good. Okay, so for example, a sensor that generates data, but the data will be only be useful if it interpreted properly. Each IoT device has a unique identity. Okay, the identification is helpful in tracking the equipment and at times for querying its status. Okay, so basically, a sensor generates data. For example, the sensor generates data, but if there is not, if that is not interpreted properly, there is no meaning to the data. For suppose there is some disturbance in that signal, or you can say there is a lot of noises in that signal at the time of interpretation, so that is not usable. So in the reference of intelligence and identity, you have to have the intelligence to interpret the data correctly. Okay, and after that, for identity, every device in your IoT infrastructure have its own identity, or should have its own identity. Okay. For example, here you can say in this picture, but it says that analyze, plan, execute, and monitor. Okay. Fog computing. Yeah. Adaptation request. Okay. First of all, you will get the adaptation request. That means the data is extracted by the sensor. After that, it is connected to the cloud. After getting to the cloud, in the data processing layer. Okay. In the data processing layer, there is some adaptation request. After that, you have to plan that request. Okay. You have to plan for the request that what should be in the plan. Okay. Once you plan, then you execute. Okay. Then you have to monitor. After monitoring, you have to analyze, is there any problem? Then you have to plan again. Okay. That means you have to change the plan. After changing the plan, you will execute that once again, then monitor. What you have to monitor? The system status. After monitoring the system status, you will be going for the analyzation. After analyzing, if the data is correct, you will be sending the data to the required UX or UI, whatever there is. Okay. So this is how the intelligence and identity works. And for the identification is helpful in tracking the equipments and at times for querying its status. Okay. For example, there is a vast number of IoT infrastructure. Okay. There are a number of IoT devices. For example, there is a number of IoT devices, and that number is enormous. Okay. That number is enormous. For that purpose, you have to do what? For that purpose, you have to do what? Every device of your IoT infrastructure should have its own identity. Okay. Should have its own identity. That's how, if there is some problem in your infrastructure and you get the signal that this thing is broken, so when you go to there, or you search for the problematic IoT device, so you will get that quickly. Okay. Through the identification. And at the time of tracking any equipment or IoT equipment, you will be getting the data easily by identifying that particular device. Okay. So after that, scalability. So what is scalability? Scalability is the capability. Okay. Scalability is the capability of handling the expansion. Okay. Here in IoT, this is the capability of handling the massive expansion. Okay. So the number of elements connected to IoT zone is increasing day by day. Okay. Every day, the number of IoT infrastructure, or you can say the elements which are connected to IoT zone, that are increasing and increasing very fast. Okay. Hence, an IoT setup should be capable of handling the massive expansion. The data generated as an outcome is enormous. Okay. The data which is generated as an outcome is enormous, and it should be handled appropriately. Okay. It should be handled appropriately. Okay. So that is the scalability. So there are two types of scalability which we use in our IoT. Okay. So that is the technical scalability and operational scalability. So what is the technical scalability? Technical scalability tells you that how the platform scales the data, the volume of the devices and data. Okay. The platform, that how the platform scales with the volume of devices and data. Okay. And then operational scalability, that how the platform helps to scale the business processes with the volume of customers. Okay. That means technical scalability, there is a volume of device and data. Okay. In operational scalability, there is a volume of users. Okay. Then there is a dynamic and self-adapting. Okay. So this characteristic should be in your IoT device or IoT infrastructure. Without this, the IoT infrastructure should be clumsy. Okay. That will become very clumsy. Okay. So IoT devices should dynamically adapt themselves to the changing context of scenario. Okay. For example, they should change themselves in the for the requirement of the situations. Okay. For the requirement of the situations, they have to change themselves. Okay. Assume a camera meant for the surveillance. Okay. A camera which is meant for surveillance, it should adapt itself for working in different conditions like day, night, morning, afternoon, night, and all those areas. Okay. For different light situations. So in that particular way, in your IoT device, you should make that in such a way that they should be dynamic and self-adapting. That means they can do a lot of things, and after that they should adapt themselves in very certain areas, or you can say if in every area. Okay. Then there is our architecture. Okay. So the architecture of the IoT should not be humongous. Okay. That can never be humongous in nature. If that is humongous in nature, that means it will be decreasing some of the characteristics like your dynamic and self-adapting, and also your sorry wait yeah. So if it gets humongous in nature, so at that time it can't be successfully meet the requirements of the characteristics of fourth number, that is dynamic and self-adapting. Okay. So that's why it should not be humongous. It should be hybrid and supporting different manufacturers product to function in an IoT network. For an example, you can say the Arduino IDE. Okay. The Arduino IDE is a what is supported by different manufacturers. Okay. There are a number of boards in Arduino in your ESP8266, in your ESP32. There are a number of boards. Okay. You can say there is 100 or 1,000 number of boards. Okay. And including the different type of manufacturers. Okay. There are a lot of manufacturers of Arduino, Node MCU, ESP32. But the but the Arduino IDE supports every manufacturer and every board. Okay. So at Mega 16. Okay, at Mega 16, you can say there is at Mega 328P, which is used in Arduino Uno. Okay, there are a lot of Atmega microcontrollers. Okay, so in that process, there are a lot of manufacturers and lot of boards, but they are supporting. Sorry, the Arduino IDE is supporting all of them. Okay, so that's how your architecture should be. That means it should not be humongous. It should be hybrid and supporting different manufacturers and products to function in your IoT network. Okay, IoT is not owned by any one engineering branch. So the architecture of IoT needs number of engineers, or you can say number of engineering branch which are coming together and becomes a single domain, which is a IoT. Okay, IoT is a reality when multiple domains come together. Okay, so when multiple domains come together, that is the reality which becomes IoT. Sorry, the IoT becomes reality when the multiple domains come together. Okay, for example, here you can say the sensing layer is there. There are sensors, then the gateway, which we can say the network layer, then data processing layer, and the application layer. So this is the type of architecture, okay, which we have in the characteristics. Okay, then the last characteristics of IoT. So the last characteristics of IoT is the safety. Okay, there is a now danger of the sensitive personal details of the user getting compromised. Okay, so as we all know that data is everything and everywhere. So there should be some safety to the data of ours. Okay, there is a danger of the sensitive personal data of the user getting compromised when all his or her devices are connected to the internet. Okay, so the safety of IoT is like two types. Okay, you can say there are two type of safety of IoT. Okay, so what are those? The safety of the user's data and the safety of the devices also. Okay, so in this picture here you are seeing that the safety of the data and also the safety of the devices. Okay, the IoT devices should be safe and the data of the user should be shared. Okay, so that's how the characteristics of IoT works. If the safety of the data of the user is compromised, that doesn't make any sense to the IoT. Okay, so this can cause a loss to the user. Hence the data security is the major challenge. Besides, the equipment involved is huge. Okay, so I have told you that there are lot of infrastructures which are humongous. Sorry, there are huge. Okay, that means use number of number of IoT devices in the infrastructure. Okay, so there are handling the security or the data security is a major challenge in IoT. Okay, you have to mindful about that. The safety of the IoT devices are next to the safety of the data of the user. Okay, so this can cause a loss to the user. Hence, the data security is a major challenge. Besides, the equipment involved is huge. IoT networks may also be at the risk. Okay, once your data is compromised and your IoT devices are compromised, at that time the network you are using that can may be corrupted or that can be corrupted also. Okay, so you have to be mindful that first of all comes the safety of the data, then comes the safety of the devices, then comes the safety of the network. Okay, so after that therefore equipment safety is also essential. Okay, so this is the safety, or you can say the 6 characteristics of IoT. Okay, so thank you everyone.